What's up, Makalera Satyad here in Singapore. Thank you so much for joining me on the Night Out podcast. Once again, happy to be here. Hoping you're happy to be listening to me. I don't know if you're sick and tired of my voice yet, but I don't know. That might be on the way still. Anyway, really happy because I have been realizing that some of these old quotes that, we always throw around, like, those cliche quotes that we always talk about, like, change is inevitable. Winners never quit, and I don't know, suddenly I can't think of all the cliche ones, right? So yeah, love is blind, all those ones that always pop up, right? People sling them around, they use them when it's appropriate. It's just, all about timing. But there's one in particular that I thought was really fascinating, and I've taken it for granted forever until recently when I was talking about it in a different concept that I thought, you know what, this deserves its own podcast. So I'm talking about the quote, with great power comes great responsibility. I know every time you hear that, you think Spider-Man, right? And as much as I would love to say that it is a Spider-Man quote, I have no idea where it originated. But I like the concept because I have recently realized that it really fits with the situation when you're trying to take control of your life. A lot of us find ourselves victim of circumstance, right? All these turn of phrase, catchphrases, all that, they're really great until you really think about what they mean or where they came from, what they originated from. Like this particular one, right? With great power comes great responsibility. For me, originally that was like, okay, well, if you have these superpowers, you have to use them responsibly. And generally speaking, that's what we use this particular phrase for. But what I want to talk to you about is a little bit more like self-awareness. For those people who feel like, and I've been here a million times before, when I feel like the world is against me, I can't do nothing right, I can't win for losing, like, what the hell? Everybody's against me, people are picking on me, no one likes me, everybody hates me, think I might just eat worms, all of that nonsense, right? It is a very disempowered state. You feel like you have no control over anything because no matter which way you turn, something goes wrong, is what you think. And sometimes it's easy to get caught up in that feeling. But what I want to remind you guys is, with the power to change comes responsibility for the actions. I have spent the last 10 years teaching people how to take back some of the power in their life. A lot of times you feel like, people are against you. People are forcing you to do this. People are not giving you a choice. I have no choice. This is just the way my life is. I got to suck it up and just take it as it is. I got to bend over and take it. Whatever the case may be, however you want to phrase it, right? And I'm laughing because I've been this frustrated where I was just laughing to keep from crying, honestly. I want you guys to remember, as much as you feel like the whole world is against you, when you put yourself in that space, you feel like you have no choice. You don't have a chance in hell to actually fix your life. You just have no choice but to go along with it. It's why so many people feel so lost and so powerless and so hopeless that they feel like there's no other choice but to end their life, because then the suffering would end and then no one could blame them anymore. No one could, make them feel any worse than they already do. And maybe I'm taking up too much space, and this is why I feel like, what? There's no other choice. I should just go. I'm not making a difference anyway. No one really cares. No one notices if I'm not around. I should go. And I get that feeling. I've been there so many times. It's like looking up from the bottom of a well. This sinking feeling like, what? I'm just here. There's nothing I can do. I'm just here. Fuck it. You know what? I give up. But I want to remind you guys, no one has control over everything, which means even outside of you, the people around you do not control everything. They don't. They can't control what you believe. They can't control what you say. They can't control what you do. They can control what you feel. Guess what, though? You can. And if you can control those things, then the power to change and the power to take control comes with a great responsibility for the actions that you do, the actions that you put out there. The choices that you make come with great responsibility. Let me explain it a different way, maybe. At the end of my relationship, at the end of my marriage, I was feeling like, what, this is it. I'm just going to be like this. I can predict everything about my life going forward because every day will look like this one. Every day. I will come home from taking care of the kids and I will make sure dinner's on the table and the house is clean and the laundry is done and the bills are paid. And he will not pay attention to me. He will walk past me. He may kiss me on the cheek because it's custom. It's not because he feels the need to kiss me or the desire to kiss me. It's just going to be this day in and day out. He comes, he goes. We coordinate our schedules. We pick up the kids. We take care of the kids, and that's pretty much it. This was not a marriage. It was like a well-orchestrated skit. There was no feeling behind it. Everybody was faking everything. Except for the kids, they don't know any better, right? And so I felt helpless and lost and just, I can't do anything until I realized I have a choice to be here. As in, not on this plane, not on this earth. I'm talking about to be in this house. I have a choice about what my children see of me. How much they see of what I handle and how I handle it. They get to see how a marriage plays out. And I have a choice in that matter because I have a hand in the relationship. I have a hand in the marriage. And it was that thought that kept me thinking, you know what? I don't want them to see these certain things. Because then I'm playing into the stereotype that this is the way marriages are. They're not. They're not supposed to be. I don't want to believe that. I refuse to believe that. I chose to believe in something that was more than what everyone else was portraying. I chose to believe something bigger than what I had seen with my own two eyes. I wanted to dream bigger. Just because you've never seen a wheel before doesn't mean it couldn't exist. It does, obviously. We know this. But once upon a time, they could not fathom a wheel. They couldn't. Once upon a time, it was pack animals. Beasts of burden. Until we realized, they could pull it, it would be less strain on them, and plus, we could pull more then. I did not want them to live by my example. And so I chose to take control of my life a little bit at a time. I went from cooking only what they wanted to cooking a little bit of what I wanted to, because that was my home too. I went from making sure they had a lot of fun and they had their friends over and stuff to while they were at school and my husband was at work and I happened to be unemployed, I made sure I spent as much time being present with my baby as possible, looking for a job as well, and trying to make a presentable, comfortable house filled with food that was comforting and tasty, and make sure I was present when each of them got home. I started changing my behavior because my behavior when I had settled for what my life happened to look like at the time was almost defeatist and depressed, and I barely came out of the room except for when I had to. And I had to because the kids weren't in a position where they could feed themselves or cook for themselves. I still needed to get up and take them to school. I still needed to make sure that they had lunch money on their pocketbooks and stuff. I needed to make sure that they were taken care of. They were not in a position where they could do that for themselves. I still had to get up in the middle of the night to feed my baby and, change diapers and give the baby a bath and clean the bathrooms because no one else was going to do it for me. But I had a choice in how I did those things. And at the time, before I made the change, I was doing it in such an attitude that, they could tell I hated what I was doing. They could tell that I was miserable. And they responded in kind by walking on eggshells and making sure not to piss me off because they didn't want me to yell at them. And I feel terrible about that. And once I decided, you know what? I can change the environment. I can change the atmosphere here. I have a hand in this. This is my house too. And so when I started becoming a little more cheerful, a little more happy, and I put things out of my mind that were bothering me, as in I stopped dwelling on the fact that my husband wasn't actually interested in me. I stopped dwelling on the fact that he wasn't actually helping me with the kid. I stopped dwelling on the fact that he barely helped out and he complained all the time when she cried and told me that, she waking up in the middle of the night was disturbing him from getting any sleep. I stopped dwelling on the things that made me sad and I started focusing where I was loved and appreciated, which meant the other kids. I had 3 kids in the house. I had 2 teenagers and a baby. And I was happy. And eventually when I felt better about myself because I was taking charge of my energy and being responsible for my energy, meaning to say that whatever I did and whatever mood I happened to be in, I knew that it would affect the people around me. I'd be stupid to think that it didn't. I'm a psych major. I should know better. But yeah, I was victim to my own feelings for a little while and I kind of dwelled longer than I should have. And here I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to take responsibility for this. And once I took responsibility, everything changed a little bit. And even though it changed a little bit, it didn't quite change the way I wanted it to. The kids changed. Our relationship got deeper and smarter and stronger. But the relationship with me and my husband did not. And that showed me something else, that he was moving on and I could not do anything about it. I cannot force anyone to stay with me. I can't. I won't. That's not fair. They have free will as well. And so what I ended up doing was I took responsibility for my actions, and I realized that us fighting all the time and him being at my throat all the time was not the look I wanted the kids to remember. I did not want them to remember him as that kind of person. If he had a chance to be happy without me, I wanted him to have that chance. If I was making him so miserable that all he could do was yell at me every chance he got, or pick a fight and then leave every chance he got, they deserve to see a happy father too. And so I made the choice. I'm not going to be where I'm not loved. I'm not going to be here where I can do more damage by just settling than I could if I stood up and walked away and showed them that it's okay to walk away if something you've tried everything in your power to fix or mend or heal is still not mending or healing. I took responsibility because I realized I had the power to change my life. You see, this thing where we feel like the whole world is against us kind of puts us in victim mentality. If the world is causing all your problems, guess what? You got to wait till the world fixes your problems too then. That means you have no choice but to take it. And I refuse to believe that. I don't like that at all. I would rather believe that, you know what, I might not be able to control everything, but there are some things that are well within my control. Like getting a new job or quitting a job. Like staying with somebody that makes you feel miserable, or leaving to be by yourself. Choosing to have, someone help you around the house, or choosing to do it all by yourself. Choosing to ask for help or not. All of those things are choices we get to make. We have free will, people. And I don't think we exercise it enough. So like I said, with great power, as in the power to control your life, comes great responsibility, which means you need to take responsibility for the actions that you choose. It is a choice to love somebody every day, to get up and show up and be there to love them every day. It is a choice to be rude. It is a choice to push people away. It is a choice to block. It is a choice to accept a friendship. Most of the choices we make, we can generally undo. And I'm not saying clean cut undo as in like it never existed, as in like we can undo it. Like if we made a friend request and we can delete the request all of a sudden if we feel that we made a mistake. We could put up a post and we feel like we did something wrong. We can make the choice to undo that decision for the most part. If we made a bad friend choice, if we made a bad wardrobe choice, if we stepped in a puddle, like there are so many things we can do. So many things that we can do that we don't give ourselves credit for. We could do a lot. We don't take ourselves up on the opportunity though. We don't jump in and try. Why? Sometimes it's because we're scared. We don't know what it would end up like if we chose something different one time. Sometimes an unknown devil is worse than a known devil. A known devil meaning you know the person that you're in a relationship. You know your parents. You know exactly what to expect. If I do this, they're going to flip out. If I don't do this, they won't flip out. So let me just avoid them. Avoid the things that make me get in trouble. But that also means I don't get to be myself. With great power, the power to choose, the power to live, the power to change your life comes great responsibility. Responsibility for your choices. Responsibility for how people are reacting to your choices. And I'm not saying you're responsible for their reactions. I'm saying you're responsible to recognize the fact that they are reacting to your responses. And if need be, you can adjust your responses or adjust the people. Something. You have that power. I hope this makes sense, you guys. It took me a minute, and I'm not sure even what I was talking about when it kind of like hit me like, yo, my gosh, this is exactly why with great power comes great responsibility is so fitting. But it's not your usual definition. It's not your usual context. But I think it still fits. So if you have any questions or concerns, drop them in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think. Did I spin it too much? I mean, did I lose you? Let me know. But until then, consider what I said. Have a look-see. Think about what it is that you complain about. What is it you say when you're upset? my God, I can't do this anymore. Oh my gosh, you know what? I can't take this anymore. But are you actually going to do something about it? Are you going to get up and fix your life? Because only you can fix it. Only you can fix it. And I want you to know that. Not as a burden to you, but as a gateway to a little more freedom to be yourself, a little more peace. I think we all deserve that, don't you? All right, you guys. I'll catch you again soon. Love you. Bye.